Hello, everyone, and welcome to our presentation. We're going to have a presentation titled Increasing English Language Teachers' Capacity to Teach for Social Justice. Before dwelling into the details of the project, I'd like to highlight that this presentation is based on a large-scale project funded by the US Embassy Ankara in Turkey. As you see here, we are a very large group of presenters and guest speakers. So as presenters, we have Deniz Ortaçtepe, Adnan Yılmaz, that's me, and Eyüp Yaprak. And we have also 3 guest speakers who are going to introduce their small-scale projects for us. And these are Rabia İrem Demirci, Necati Sönmez, Büşra Polat. Okay, so let's continue with an overview of our project, our presentation. So first, we are going to focus on 2 important concepts. These are social justice and social justice language teaching. And then we will introduce our social justice in ELT project. And after that, we will move on to our project participants' small-scale projects, which means our guest speakers will introduce their projects. And finally, we will offer some guiding principles behind social justice language teaching. Okay, so let us begin with the concept of social justice. So what is social justice? Social justice is a philosophy, is an approach and actions that embody treating all people with fairness, respect, dignity, and generosity. Social justice can be also defined as an individual, collective, and institutional journey. It is about self-identity awareness. So we have our own identity and we also have other people. So our awareness of our own identity is very important. It is also about learning with students and also developing meaningful relationships with our students, with our community. It develops multilingual and multicultural knowledge. It challenges racism and other biases that exist in our immediate and also other communities. It also focuses on having a critical stance and working with a community of critical friends as well. So with this overall understanding of social justice, now it's important for us to define or introduce what social justice language education is. So social justice language education can be considered from 2 different, can be considered as a noun and also as a verb. So as a noun, it refers to equity, ethical values, care, and respect. And as a verb, it is about a process and it's a goal. So the process itself is informed by the concept of social justice. And also at the end of the day, we expect our students to create and also achieve social justice as a goal inside and outside of our classrooms. So briefly, we can say that social justice language education aims to create equitable and inclusive schooling and education by examining the issues of race, diversity, age, ability, gender, and sexual identity from a critical perspective, while also cultivating a sense of empowerment and social change. So basically, we can say that social justice teacher education includes everything that is about the teaching and learning processes. So it includes our beliefs, values, and ideologies. Of course, our beliefs, values, and ideologies inform the curriculum and also our language policies. So depending on our curriculum and language policies or learning policies, we have certain approaches, methods, and techniques and strategies that guide our teaching and learning processes. So depending on our teaching approaches, methods, and techniques, we have our lesson plans, and also we also have certain objectives and goals that we expect our students to achieve at the end of the day. So to serve for these objectives and goals, we need to have certain lesson planning and also some different materials that will guide us throughout the process. So it's important for us to make it clear and selective, go through a selective process of textbooks and also the materials, because the materials that we use in the classroom might create some biases or some stereotypes, or they can convey some messages that would violate the norms or the conventions in the society. It also includes the questions we ask, decisions we make, and the interaction patterns we have in the classroom. So they are all about social justice language education. So as a teacher, when we are interacting with our students, it is possible that we create some biases or we create some stereotypes that would hurt some people. So it is important for us to bear this very notion in mind when we teach our students. Social justice language education is also about our relationship and advocacy for students, parents, colleagues, and communities. So teaching language does not just mean teaching grammatical points or linguistic points. It is also about bringing the repertoire of our students into the classroom to deliver sound and effective language teaching in the classroom. So now I'm going to leave the stage to Deniz Ortaştepe, and Deniz will introduce our large-scale project, and then we will continue with the other presenters.
Thank you, Adnan. As Adnan mentioned, our project was funded by the U.S. Embassy in Ankara, by the U.S. State Department. And we actually had two overarching goals when we began this project. The first one was to integrate social justice issues in English language teaching curricula by educating pre-service teachers in Turkey. And the second one was to enable our participants, the pre-service teachers, to run their own small-scale social responsibility projects in their local environment. This could be their local communities or their practicum context. And through these projects, we wanted to help reduce social injustice and increase equality in socioeconomically disadvantaged areas in Turkey. And this was a long-term project that took, about 2 years, actually. We began with introductory seminars in November 2018. So we traveled across the Black Sea region in Turkey and visited 4 universities and talked about social justice education and what social justice is and what social justice education is, what it entails, and so on. So the purpose of these seminars was to create interest, to raise awareness, but also to recruit participants. And once we actually knew which students we were going to work with, we started doing our webinars that focused on environmental education and justice, gender equality, LGBTQ plus inclusive pedagogy, and immigration and peace building. So at the end of every webinar, the students wrote lesson plans that included language, content, and social justice objectives, and they also wrote reflective blog posts on our website, which I'll be sharing in a little bit. So once we were done with the, stage where we, cultivated interest and developed awareness of these issues, and talked about the principles of social justice education, we supported our participants to carry out their own social responsibility projects in their local context and in their communities. And this is why we invited our project participants today to talk about their own projects and talk about what they have gained through the projects that they carried out. And the last phase of the social justice project was the symposium that we held at Sinop University. And this was the stage we actually selected our best project, the best projects that the students carried out, so that we decided which projects would be awarded to come to TESOL 2020, which actually got canceled. So we're now planning for TESOL 2022 at this point. But the 3 participants who are here today were actually awarded the TESOL Attendance Award, and they will be attending, hopefully, TESOL conference next year. So this is our website, and it includes all our webinars and seminars and resources and the students' blogs as well. So if you're interested, if you are looking for more information about our project, this pretty much contains everything. So we're going to move on to our project participants' own social responsibility projects. And I think Iram will go ahead and get started with her project titled Juster Together, Social Justice in the Writing Classroom.
Hello everyone, my name is Rabia İrem Demirci. I'm a research assistant at 19 Mayıs University right now. I have attended this project when I was student at university. And to go on with the project itself, this project is inspired by the main project named Social Justice in ELT. And I have applied this project in high schools. To talk about the aims, the goals of the project I have designed. And first objective is to create awareness in high school community about gender awareness, bullying, environmental education and sustainability, peace building and immigration. And the second objective was to show students that they can affect their community by acting as little activists. And the last objective was to raise students' awareness of social justice issues while also developing their knowledge and skills in writing different types of essays, such as cause and effect essay, opinion essay, and argumentative essay. And who were my project participants and what was the contacts? 5 10th grade students, and 1 is international student, and 4 were Turkish. Were my participants. And why I have chosen this age group, these kind of participants, because I felt that they are close to shape the future and they were at the age of shaping their own ideas and worldview. So I have chosen these participants. And where we conducted this project in high school context, we have conducted our project to raise awareness around the school environment and to set a good example for the schoolmates as well. Let's talk about a bit about the process. And we started with recruiting participants. That was easy, I can say that, because all participants were volunteer. There was no eligible criteria for choosing participants. They just should be studying at a high school. And the first step of the project, I gave my students a big blank sheet, and I asked them to create mind maps about subjects determined to study, social justice subjects. And I made students search about the determined issues, and I asked them to create some posters to hang on the school walls to raise awareness about of their schoolmates as well. And there were 2 objectives. Again, in this stage, I was planning to teach 3 types of essays as a language-oriented objective, opinion essay, cause and effect essay, and argumentative essay. And as you can see, gender awareness and bullying and social justice issues, as I mentioned before, were social justice objectives of the project. And the all writing processes goes like this: first draft and peer feedback, second draft and teacher feedback, and the third draft and final draft. And after that, all the essays written throughout the process and the posters designed included in the newsletter. And the last step, I took my participants to the Symposium in Sinop University to show them how can they express their feelings about social justice issues before some authorities like education attaché and professors as well. You can see our product in the right hand side, Juster Together and newsletter, and in left hand side you can see the participants and the posters on the wall. And this is the product. I think it was really great product for themselves and for their classmates, and they inspired their schoolmates as well. To talk about my gains from the project, attending this project, I'm feeling the power of passion for teaching the young. I've never thought that I can work with that age of students. And this project, sustaining this project also promotes trust in sustain a project like these projects, and it enhances social responsibility as a mentor, and it also cultivates awareness about the importance of including social justice in EFL classes. And I'm feeling really motivated to bring social justice issues into EFL classrooms as well without hesitation after this project, because I saw that high school students really like discussing that kind of social justice issues and they really having fun while finding some solutions for some social justice problems in their own country and around the world. And I would like to thank you before ending my words and leaving stage to Necati.
Hi everyone, I'm Necati Sönmez. I'm a master's student at Çanakkale 18 Mart University at the Department of ELT. Well, first of all, as you can see, my project is titled as Drama and Children's Literature, Raising Awareness Towards Social Justice Issues, a practicum site, because I was a pre-service teacher and I was in my final year at the ELT department at Karadeniz Technical University. And second reason, if you look at the participants section, I've included the 6th grade students in my project because my assumption was that the young learners were mostly spoon-fed the stereotypes about gender roles in society, because during this main project, we analyzed some course books and textbooks, and I found that the course book that teachers were using in their classrooms were rather promoting the injustices or gender stereotypes. Because, for example, in a unit called In the Kitchen, I saw that the women were doing lots of stuff in the kitchen, not the men. So I thought that, well, this could be a promising assumption to include in my project. And I wanted to raise awareness towards gender inequality, gender stereotypes, and racism. Well, how did I do this? First of all, I included the drama, as I said, because I thought that it could be a fun and engaging and entertaining experience for 6th grade students. I mean, I can't just teach them about social justice issues directly, so I should have adapted an indirect way, and drama was the best way for this, because it enables teaching the content indirectly. And also it enhances learning by doing. Through children's literature, I accomplished this because I've chosen 3 books. They were about gender stereotypes and inequalities. So I wanted to aim that I would enable my young learners to become critical thinkers by exposing them to such literature. I had 3 objectives. First of all, to raise young learners' awareness on gender inequality, gender stereotypes, and racism, as I mentioned earlier. Secondly, this objective is based on the English part of my project, because I prepared some scripts out of 3 books, and the scripts contained grammar and vocabulary that were beyond my young learners' levels. So that's why I aimed them to speak this language, this English, which was beyond their level, as fluently and accurately as possible. And thirdly, I wanted to create a community that would promote the sustainable side of my project, because I wanted not only to draw attention to just 3 months period, I wanted to make it forever, and that I aimed to create the community that this school needed, actually, for promoting social justice. Well, the process, first of all, I formed the casts, the 3 groups. Well, at initial part, 40 students just contacted me for involving in the project. But of course, I needed to choose some students for 3 groups. But I didn't just eliminate the other ones. I just mentioned that, well, you can join the rehearsals, you can always watch us, you can always, I mean, even take part in this. So some of them came to the rehearsals, and I mean, they learned quite a lot of things when we consider social justice and English language, like vocabulary, pronunciation of specific words. And then I created the scripts, as I've said, and the 3 books are Paperback Princess, William's Doll, and Amazing Grace. Paperback Princess is about gender inequality, William's Doll is about gender stereotypes, and Amazing Grace is about racism. And then I distributed these books to the students, and then I asked these 3 groups for 3 storybooks to read their scripts in 1-2 weeks time. I created the scripts and distributed them. And then I gave feedbacks on this 2 weeks time period because lots of them had problems with English language in these books. And then I explained each of the rules or whatever the problem they had to them. And then we conducted multiple rehearsals and for months. And for months, I provided feedback on language production, language errors, and intonation, and the emotional aspect, emotional side of the drama, because that required emotional work, a lot of emotional work. And then I prepared some materials, and I will show them in next slides. And then I contacted local special clothes shops for some dresses, because the stories involved dragons, princesses, prince. So that's why I contacted the local special clothes shop. And then the students demonstrated this drama to their peers, to the teachers at the school, and to the parents that came to the demonstration. I mean, there were like maybe not hundreds, but 80 or 90 person in that room where students demonstrated the drama. Well, learning outcomes can be described from 2 perspectives. First one is linguistic outcomes. For sure, vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation are enhanced through scripts because students were exposed to these scripts for months, literally for months, and they enhanced their vocabulary, grammar, and especially pronunciation part is important because, I mean, they were saying like veer, but I said, no, it's where. So they were just, I mean, imagine the 6th grade student says where instead of veer. So that was a really big improvement for them. And then the drama allowed for authentic repetition for better language learning. And social justice outcomes. One of the outcomes of my project was raising awareness on the gender-related issues in an indirect way with the help of drama. And I accomplished this because most of the time the students were asking me such questions like, as you can see in the example, if they should help their mother in the kitchen, for example. So, I mean, at one time, I said that, boys, come on. We were going to the rehearsals. And one of the boys just told me that, no, teacher, you should say boys and girls, because there were also girls in our group. So I was really proud of them. And I know that I accomplished this because they were really quite knowledgeable at the end of the project. And they critically questioned the gender stereotypes in the society. Well, the pictures are, this picture is from the Paperback Princess. As you can see, there is a princess, a dragon, and the materials, as you can see, the castle, the spider web, and the trees. So I've set this stage. And this is from William's Doll. As you can see, at the center, there is the William, and at the left-hand side, there is the father, and the right-hand side, the grandmother. And here, the Amazing Grace. And the Amazing Grace is the student at the center who is sitting on the desk. Well, my gains are, well, I can say that this project was a starting point for me because I'm now a master's student, and I even chose to study power relations in my thesis study. So that's why I can say that this project was a starting point for me to realize the importance of social justice in language education. I mean, as language educators, we can always find ways to implement social justice because we don't have a certain subject knowledge area. I mean, we can touch upon some other things. I mean, we're not just math or physics teachers. We don't have a specific set of subject matter. So that's why I believe that social justice should be promoted in pre-service teacher education. And this project helped me to realize that there is always a hope for a better world, a peaceful world, which can embrace the diversity.
Hello, my name is Bishra Polat, and I am a graduate student of the ELT department in 19 Mayıs University in Samsun. And first of all, I would like to explain why I wanted to take place in this project. The main reason was this project seemed very unusual and different to me, and unfortunately, it's really not easy to find projects like this in our area. So I didn't want to miss the chance, and I'm glad I didn't. And the project, the name of my project is The Voice Within: Empowering Refugees and Immigrants Through Storytelling. The main motivation, actually inspiration behind this project was the movie The Help. I don't know if you have seen it or not, but I accidentally saw it on YouTube, the trailer. It was already a movie that I had seen. And then it made me think about all the immigrants and all the refugees, all the people who were lifted out in this country because we don't know how they're feeling. We don't know their language, and we're not trying to understand. So I wanted to look at things from their perspective. So then I slowly came up with the idea. And my objectives were, and still are, to give voice to refugees, at least to give them a chance to speak up and to tell their stories so that we can understand them. And the second one was to develop an authentic short storybook to be used in language classrooms. And the participants that I convinced to be a part of this project, for refugee women, it's just a coincidence. I didn't choose it in the beginning, but since I wanted to do something related to gender equality and everything, I was happy with the result. There are 2 women from Iraq, 1 woman from Syria, and 1 woman from Uzbekistan. And when it comes to the process, the hardest part for me was to find the volunteers and to convince them, because it's sharing your own life with people that you don't know. It's quite private, and it was really hard to convince them because some of them were scared. For example, 1 woman from Syria, she was scared of her husband, so we did it secretly. Her husband still doesn't know. And that was the hardest part, but I'm thankful that they accepted it. And the second part was to conduct the interviews and then to transcribe the interviews. And after I finished this chapter, I had to transform all these stories that I had recorded into short stories by using a literary language, which was something that I was not familiar with. So I received a lot of help from my professors because I didn't know what to do with it. And when I wrote things down, when I wrote everything down, I felt like there was something missing. So, it seemed like there was something missing. So I asked one of my friends to read the stories, feel them, and then draw authentic pictures for each story, which you will see in a bit. And then when everything was finished, I sent the storybook to my professors to get some feedback on the book, on the language, and every other detail. And after the feedback and everything, we revised the storybook and we shaped it into the last version. So we made copies of the storybook. And as you can see, this is the cover of the book. As I mentioned before, these women were scared of revealing their stories, so I promised them that I was going to keep their identity as a secret. So instead of revealing their names, I chose to use constellation names because I believe their stories were like stories of survivors. I saw them as warriors, so I chose Corvus, Pavo, Columba, and Phoenix because I believe they were stars that shine through at the end of the day against their battle. And these are the drawings. For example, in the first one, we can see the colorful, it's like a LGBTQ flag because this girl was a lesbian and she had to run away from her country to be able to live freely. And the second one represents a kid who was stuck in the middle of a war in Iraq. And the last one is just up to your imagination. And personal gains, personally, I believed I developed a sense of achievement after having the courage and to convince these women and encourage myself first and then encourage them to speak up because I believe other people should have heard these stories. So it was both encouraging for me and for them too to speak up about their traumatic memories and to transforming my conceptual understanding of social justice thanks to this experience because it had a different meaning before this project and now it has a completely different meaning for me with this project. And I also cultivated my empathy, tolerance, respect, and a great deal of understanding thanks to this experience because it really means something different to me now. I can connect and have more empathy other people's issues. I can take a closer look. And this whole thing just motivated me to feel more active and make other people understand. And maybe we cannot take a big step all of a sudden, but we can change the attitudes and the way we look at things. And that's a change too. And professionally, this project made me understand that there is more of language teaching. There's much more behind it, more than teaching grammar and vocabulary. It's just not about that. It's much bigger than that. And I managed to develop something authentic material for a language class, which is the storybook itself. It's real and it's really authentic. And cultivating responsibility for enhancing students' awareness on social justice issues. That was something that I never thought about before this project. So now I know how important it is to integrate all these social justice issues into second language teaching practices. And in the future, I would really like to be a part of other projects like this. So I'm really happy with the process and the result. And thank you. And now I would like to leave the stage to Yaprak.
Thank you, Bishra. Hello, everyone. My name is Yaprak, and I am an English language teacher, and I am the assistant of the project since the beginning. Now that we have defined the term social justice in language teaching context and listened to the projects of our participants, I would like to highlight some of the implications of the project that can guide for social justice language education. So first of all, instead of simply focusing on delivering materials, pre-service English language teachers should be supported to increase their awareness in order to recognize their students' diverse backgrounds, including their talents, strengths, and skills. And secondly, pre-service English language teachers should be encouraged to learn about their students' families and communities so that they can translate this learning into culturally responsive teaching practices. And third, while lesson planning or material designing, pre-service teachers should be supported to think critically and authentically about the world surrounding them. And next, they should also be engaged in critical and self-reflection about their own roles, powers, and privileges. And we should provide pre-service teachers with opportunities to help them discover the hegemonic structures in their society and find means to address them accordingly. And finally, they should be supported to acquire the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values necessary to shape a sustainable future. And these are our references. Thank you for listening.